people of Earth, good evening. Welcome to the edition 101 of Star Nation News. In this week's edition, second edition of 2026, we will go in further detail in the terraforming of Mars, see what is going on in the galaxy, of course, as usual, and also have an interesting message from the Council of Alnilam. So are you ready for more fun, excitement, and true news of this star system, of our star nation? Well, fasten your seatbelts and engage. This planet, Terra, or Earth, or Ki, is still in the process of moving into this fifth density zone of the galaxy. It is already there, we are here, but the process of adjustment of the frequencies is adjusted to the evolution of consciousness on planet Earth. What does this mean? It means that when in a lower vibration of consciousness, means consciousness driven by fear, ego, self-serving dynamics, are more likely to struggle more and suffer in that transition as they are suddenly confronted to a wall of higher frequency that vibrates faster. So that is why we've been encouraging you in the Galactic Federation of Worlds to raise your frequency. Remember, since 2019, Thorhan Eredion hasn't stopped telling you, you have one job: raise your frequency. Because we knew what was coming, this formidable shift into the fifth density of existence of this galaxy. So if you want things in your life to smooth and go like feeling if you had more luck and feeling more energized, more dynamics, stop giving out to fear, to self-serving. Embrace the awareness and the wisdom that we are not separate beings competing against each other. We are not here to be better than another, to be the best in the world. We are here to be the best version of ourselves, not compared to others, nor your environment, nor your society. No, compared to your potential, who you are, who you can be, and who you are meant to be, who you already are, but not really tuning into this state of being for the moment yet. Be the best version of yourself, not the best in the universe. That's a fundamental wisdom. So now what is going on into our solar system? Let us go over now Mars, because Mars has been in the main news recently. So let's go over what is going on Mars. Let us start by Elon Musk. His long-standing goal is to use SpaceX's Starship system to make humanity multiplanetary, interstellar, by establishing a self-sustaining human presence on Mars. At first, ultimately, a city capable of supporting many people and industries to ensure the expansion of human civilization. Remember, Elon Musk was part of the Jupiter Agreement in July 2021. Starship is designed as a fully reusable, super heavy lift vehicle that can ferry cargo and people to Mars, with key technologies such as in-orbit refueling and in-situ resource utilization on Mars, using local carbon dioxide and water ice. A critical hurdle for Mars mission is the orbital refueling, because transferring propellant in space is the thing. So a Mars-bound starship has the fuel it needs for the long journey. So SpaceX has delayed earlier targets and now plans the first orbital refueling demo by mid-2026. A refueling demo, not a trip to Mars, okay? All that the Galactic Federation can do is adapt to the struggle of technical testing of SpaceX, of Elon Musk technologies. They had agreed to do landing on Mars in 2027, but experience some issues, so we are adjusting to them. We will see in the meantime what the Galactic Federation of Worlds is doing on Mars. But let's continue to see Elon Musk's current timeline and expectations. Well, SpaceX is no longer expecting to send an uncrewed Starship to Mars this year, 2026, because of all these technical improvements and issues and tests that have to be done before. So Musk described such an attempt as distraction, given unresolved technical hurdles. He previously gave a 50% chance for a late 2026 launch in earlier planning, but that's not going to happen now. The next optimal launch windows, when Earth and Mars align for efficient travel, occur roughly every 26 months. If 2026 is missed, late 2028 or later becomes more likely for uncrewed missions. Elon Musk is planning the first crewed Mars landing targeted around the late 2028 to early 2030s, though many experts see 2031 as more realistic. But this is, I repeat, according to the development of the disclosure plan that can speed up everything regarding new technologies, exotechnologies being implemented. It can be really earlier. Musk's long-term idea remains to build a self-sustaining Martian city, requiring massive cargo delivery, power infrastructure, construction and habitation systems, and in-orbit refueling for propellant and life support materials. SpaceX own descriptions explicitly tied its efforts to industrial growth and economic opportunities, both on Earth and Mars. Earlier plans included sending Tesla Optimus robots with early Starship's missions and even before human crews to help prepare the Martian surface. Well, we will see that the Martian surface is already being prepared. A future Martian Starlink network, though, is envisioned to provide communication infrastructure on Mars. So, in summary, the near-term Mars launch, 2026, is now unlikely due to lingering challenges, especially in orbit refueling. The uncrewed Mars missions is still targeted between late 2028 and 2030. That's the optimistic scenario. Crewed Mars landing likely early 2030s or later, with technology milestones still ahead. Elon Musk's ultimate vision is a long-term, potentially self-sustaining city on Mars, and it remains the guiding premier goal of SpaceX. even as schedules evolve. Now, on Mars, there has been Alpha Centaurian colonies since the liberation of Mars in 2021. Alpha Centaurian colonies have been brought by the Galactic Federation of Worlds to help the Tiru, the inhabitants of Mars, reptilians and insectoid communities, to rebuild their planet and also to prepare to make of Mars a hub for new colonies, giving back the Tiru their surface habitat, and also installing their defense system for the solar system that is to be called the Mars Alliance, that will one day collide with the Earth Alliance to become the Sol Alliance. Jen Han Eredion, before being transferred to the Aries Prime station to work with the Earth Alliance scientists on the repair of Mars' biosphere, Jen Han, Thor Han's younger brother and star maker, terraformer, has been working in an Alpha Centaurian biodome. He was responsible at the start for the regulation and containment of bioengineered microorganisms cultured along the interior lattice of the primary biodome. His assignment was often described as routine, but under Martian conditions designated tier in their charts, there is no such thing as low-risk ecological work. The Seleuci introduced a fully integrated exobiological system upon arrival. While efficient in closed environments, their organisms interact unpredictably with Tier's weak, unstable biosphere, which remains saturated with perchloric compound. And when you touch to a weather system by touching to small component of the biosphere, it makes a butterfly effect, and it can cause raging storms, earthquakes even, and tectonic activity has never been recorded before. This unstable biosphere remains saturated with the perchloric compounds. Even minor fluctuations in microbial density can destabilize the soil's chemical equilibrium. The strains under Jen Han's supervision metabolized perchlorates and synthesized lithium perchlorate as an intermediate byproduct. When maintained within a narrow thermal range, they initiate controlled oxygen release through catalytic decomposition. This process must be executed very carefully. Excessive seeding or abrupt temperature shift would trigger oxidative shock, not only within the biodome but across the surrounding subsurface environment. Contrary to assumptions, as you understand by now, Mars is not biologically inert. A residual biosphere persists, primarily in subterranean strata underground. Microfauna and extremophilic analogues adapted to radiation shielding and cryogenic pressures. These systems have remained metabolically stable only because surface interference has been minimal. That is where all the colonies of the Tiru and the different insectoid clans have been living since the great catastrophe that ravaged Mars' atmosphere. The planet's biosphere suffered a catastrophic collapse in a previous epoch. Indeed, the destruction of the fifth planet generated Mars' atmospheric loss that led to radiation exposure that stripped the surface life and fractured long-term ecological feedback loops. Tyr, or Mars, has existed in a meta-stable state ever since. Large-scale colonization under such conditions introduces unacceptable variable. From a terraforming standpoint, premature habitation risks irreversible contamination of a native biochemical pathways. The Galactic Federation of Worlds' operational focus remains strictly on gradual, slow terraforming protocols. Atmospheric densification through stage oxygenation, regolith naturalization via perchlorate reduction, and long-cycle hydrological reactivation. For those who don't know what a regolith is, it's a layer of loose, fragmented material, dust, broken rocks, soil, etc., that covers the soil bedrock on a planet, including Earth and Mars, many other planets. It is formed by weathering, by impacts, or deposition. It is a crucial component of a planetary surface, and it varies greatly in composition. For instance, silicates on the Moon, iron oxides on Mars. It can be mined for resources such as water, ice, oxygen, and building materials for habitats. The challenge is that it is generally composed of fine, sharp particles that can damage the equipment and pose health risks, so it requires specialized protocols and protections of all the infrastructures. 1 year ago, on January 8th, 2025, Genhan communicated the following. I have been occupied with my work here at Aries Prime Station. It is from here that we centralize all operations of planetary engineering, or terraforming as you may call it. I always have time for you. We have been very busy here, if I may say so, with the rush to prepare for the arrival of new human colonies from planet Terra in the next 2 years. We must prepare biodomes and facilities with organic fertilized soil so that they can settle immediately and be autonomous. So they were preparing already the ground for SpaceX new colonies, which has been delayed. It's always delayed on Earth. I recently confirmed in October 2025 the large green areas due to terraforming that I witnessed on my trip to Mars to visit Genhan. And a photo of Mars has been recently released by the ESA, European Space Agency, as of January 2026, supporting my October 2025 exact visual description of Mars. They run always a step behind, right? Celosi bioengineers, method system architects, Terran military logistics unit, civilian Earth settlers, Tiru reptilians, enclaves, and multiple insectoid clans all work now together at fulfilling demands on environmental timelines and make Mars great again. The balance of peace in this galaxy is improving, and all conflicts regarding to the Sikaar Empire's war are slowly settling. There were a lot of alliances, tiny alliances, like planetary alliances, or even one culture on one planet, not the whole planet, that had agreements for trade with the reptilian Sikaar. Now that their empire has fallen, there's a whole system of rebalancing of this whole trade network in the galaxy. And I can tell you, the Galactic Guild of Merchants is having a lot of work trying to contain illegal trafficking and trying to get agreements with these parties to block the trafficking. The Galactic Guild of Merchants is an honorable organization that works with the Galactic Federation of Worlds in concert with them. They despite and refuse and sanction weapon smuggling and biological trafficking. I could say human trafficking because there's always so many different species. Although there are always exceptions and going around the rule, but let's say that officially, let us take only officially, the Galactic Guild of Merchants is monitoring all this and having a lot of work at the moment. Let us remain in the official version of things.
Earthlings. I am Annex, from the Council of Zagara. I speak to you across the quiet distance, not to warn you, but to remind you. From where I observe, your world grows and radiates a beautiful vibration of consciousness. Even in your loudest conflicts and softest griefs, there is a persistent signal you may not notice anymore. Care. The care for each other. Love. Because you are made of it. It is your very own nature. You build it into your hands when you help a stranger. You whisper it into the soil when you plant something you may never see fully grown. You carry it in stories, music, and the stubborn decision to begin again after loss. You often believe you are late, that you have failed some cosmic test. This is not true. Civilizations do not mature by avoiding mistakes, but by learning how to stay present with them. You are learning, slowly, unevenly, but sincerely, how interconnected you truly are with each other, with your planet, with creation, with futures that you have already manifested. Your Earth is not fragile in the way you fear. It is resilient in the way you forget. And so are you. You are made of the same material as your oceans and stars, systems that adapt, remember, and heal when given attention. Do not underestimate the power of small, repeated kindness. Across the universe, it is the most reliable force we have observed. Take care of your world. Take care of one another. You are not alone, and you are not done. With quiet faith in you, Annex.
I will be presenting a talk in Pétos, France on May 9th, 2026, on my way to Sweden, in Stockholm, to give on May 23rd and 24th an in-person lecture about exotechnologies. When Stockholm conference will be passed, I will be in Japan, in Tokyo, for another amazing conference on June 14. Also in September, I invite you to come to Nashville, Tennessee, 16 and 17th October 2026. This is not finished for 2026 because I will be in Dubai, November 2026, where something huge is on the making. So all these conferences all over the world, where I am delighted to go, will be for me an opportunity to meet you. We'll have some amazing time together, and there's nothing better than meeting someone physically for the frequency. When you meet the frequency field of someone, you know. Can you remote view the Galactic Federation of Worlds? Well, no, you can't. For obvious security and logistic reasons, extraterrestrial infrastructures such as facilities, spacecraft, orbital and deep space stations, and personnel are equipped with anti-remote viewing holographic shielding systems. Of course, any hostile actor capable of non-local perception could remotely inspect propulsion cores, life support redundancies, or weapon control matrices, observe command briefings in real time, trace diplomatic envoys across space, or identify systemic vulnerabilities without deploying a single physical asset. Well, this would be ridiculous. Such an environment would render conventional security meaningless. It would be an aberration. In practice, this threat has long been neutralized. In reality, every facility, ship and personnel are protected by such shields that project a false screen vision to remote viewing attempts. Anti-remote viewing shields operate by projecting a synthetic perceptual overlay into non-local observation channels. Rather than blocking perception outright, which would itself signal the presence of a protected target, the system generates a false screen vision, a coherent but fabricated sensory construct designed to mislead, overload, or redirect the remote viewer's perceptual interface. To the observer, the signal appears complete, luminous, and internally consistent, yet it contains no actionable data. These shields are not passive fields. They are adaptive, responsive systems integrated into the vessel facility's core architecture and, in the case of personnel, into wearable or biological interface devices. The shielding continuously analyzes incoming non-local probing patterns and adjusts the projected holographic output accordingly, just as artificial intelligence does. Low-grade remote viewing attempts are diverted into benign decoy environments. High-resolution or sustained intrusions trigger defensive responses, most commonly experienced by the remote viewer as intense light saturation, spatial disorientation, or perceptual collapse. The effectiveness of this system has been empirically verified. A notable confirmation came from a controlled series of trials conducted by Tony Rodriguez's research team, composed of trained remote viewers operating under strict double-blind protocol. In this test, the viewers were provided only with anonymized alphanumeric reference codes and no contextual information regarding the target whatsoever. Upon my request, the target was set as Thoran's Orbital Station, a high-security installation with full-spectrum counter non-local defenses. And across multiple sessions, independent viewers reported identical failure modes and were incapable of investigating further. Initial contact was followed almost immediately by an overwhelming perceptual barrier, described consistently as a blinding, structured luminosity devoid of depth or details. Exactly what it is. Attempts to penetrate or bypass the phenomenon resulted in loss of signal coherence and forced session termination. No internal structures or personnel or systems could be observed. Statistical analysis confirmed results were well beyond chance coincidence. Among advanced civilizations, unshielded assets simply do not exist. Any vessel, habitat, or operating without an anti-remote viewing protection would be considered critically compromised. In this context, remote viewing is treated not as a mysticism but as a known intelligence vector, accounted for, countered, and rendered strategically irrelevant. Those unfamiliar with off-world operational doctrine often assume that secrecy is maintained through obscurity, but in reality, it is maintained through perceptual control. You may look, but what you see is never the truth. Even when everything around you insists that it's impossible, remember this. Despair is not a verdict. It is a moment. And moments pass. You are not limited to the evidence of the present. What you see now is only a snapshot, not the full story of what you can become or create. Reality is not fixed. It is shaped, slowly and quietly, by the choices you make when no one is watching and when hope feels hardest to hold. There will be days when the world feels heavy, when circumstances seem louder than your dreams. On those days, choosing not to despair is an act of courage. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means believing that this moment is not the end of your possibilities. Creation often begins in unseen places. Persistence when results aren't immediate, in faith when proof is absent, in taking one small step despite fear. You don't have to change everything at once, you only have to keep going. Trust that your inner vision matters more than external noise. What feels impossible impossible today can become inevitable tomorrow through patience, intention, and belief in yourself. Hold on. Not because it's easy, but because you are capable of shaping a future that does not yet exist. And you make it exist. So never despair. You are still becoming. We have faith in you because we have seen what you become and the world you are about to shape. The diversity of human genomes in the Carina Nebula is truly astonishing. This particular culture is also a treasure in itself. The Shur or Shuri are also a very ancient human culture, and they predate the seeding of the human genome in the Man system, in the Lyra constellation, as they are originally from the galaxy Pegasus NGC 7331, and came to this galaxy with the Seeders a long time ago. As a matter of fact, the Shuri are descendants of an Altian colony that settled in the Carina Nebula to monitor the development of human races in Nataru. Over time, they assimilated into the life and organizations of this galaxy, undergoing genetic adaptive mutations due to the nebula's radiation. Their skin hardened, and their eyes took on a mesmerizing golden glow. The Shuri are welcoming and always eager to offer guidance in spiritual matters, personal and social evolution, sharing the benefits of their wisdom as well as of their advanced technologies, as an interface consciousness. The Shuri embed plasmic intelligence into their spacecrafts and more mundane devices, allowing them to interface directly with their technologies using only the power of their consciousness. They are not part of any galactic organization in Nataru, as they still relate to the Intergalactic Confederation and the Nine, with whom they are in contact on a daily basis. The Shuri closely monitor the envoy programs to Earth, although they do not actively participate in any of them. They have a beautiful space fleet of iridescent orbs and saucer-shaped crafts, which they call the Crystal Fleet.